in public universities in Nigeria. A battle line has long been drawn between the federal government and striking members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU. But it now appears that they are set for a fight to the finish, rather than resuming to classes ordered by the National Industrial Court of Nigeria sitting in Abuja. ASUU has vowed to appeal the verdict. In a statement signed by the Lagos Zonal Coordinator, Adelaja Odukoya, ASUU National President Professor Emmanuel Osodeke said their lawyer is filing an appeal and stay of execution of the judgment. Madam Olabisi, is this a fight to the finish?
Well, I don't also think that anybody was deceived to believe in the first instance that the court's ruling is going to be obeyed by ASUU. And also, I do not also think that the government had thought that going to court will solve this problem. I think what we are seeing now is like a complication of a very complex situation in the first instance. So, like you said, could it be a fight to the finish? I've spoken with a few lecturers, and if feelers from them is anything to go by, they are ready to wait and stay at home for the next 3 years for this issue to be resolved in their favor. So it means that all of this is not solving any problem. The government, to me, shouldn't have gone to the court in the first instance, knowing fully well that there are issues. We know that there is this agreement of 2009. We are aware that this agreement has been reviewed on several occasions, to the point that even ASUU is telling us that there are agreements signed even up to 2021. You know, we talk about 2009 agreement. They said, okay, this is not practical. Let's review it. They keep on holding meetings and all of that. But you have not done anything. You have not executed any of the agreements reached with the union. So the government cannot expect that we go through the back door and get a court order, and that court order will automatically bring an end to ASUU strike or the problem. So for me, it's prolonging the matter, and I don't know. And you know courts now. ASUU has told us that it's going to appeal. Now, the appeal court can issue a judgment. ASUU can still appeal it up to the Supreme Court. So all of this, we are just wasting time. And are we thinking of the students at all?
All right, Adewale, how complicated is this situation? Knowing the students have been home for 7 months and going to court would definitely complicate this issue more.
Well, I think we deliberately, made the issue very complex. These issues will have been resolved, a long time ago. Now they have been on strike for about 216 days. Since 1999, we have had accumulated strike of about 1,297 days. That is almost 4 years. So the most important industry in Nigeria has been shut down, which is education. And it's quite unfortunate. And we must not forget that this affects millions of people. And the majority of them, millions of students, majority of them are for poor homes. So I think the government should have resolved this issue without going to court. The government had to wait until the battle was taken to the streets by the students. The government had to wait until decisions, actions were taken that affected directly the ruling class. Many of them could not pass through the airport, and then what is going on in Abuja. So they are looking at the implication on the political stability of the country. And I think that is why for the first time, they now feel, okay, let us go to court to see a way we can resolve it. But we must not forget that you cannot decree peace and stability by going to court. If you ask them to go and resume, it's like you are compelling them, to go and resume. And teaching is not something you can compel people to do. It has to be born out of passion. One of the most contentious issues is that whether they should be paid for the months they have been on strike. A lot of us don't realize that You see, the job that lecturers do, is a strategic work. Teaching, education is not just about teaching. In fact, when they give you letter of appointment as a lecturer, it involves teaching, it involves research, it also involves community service. Teaching is just about 10% of what lecturers are supposed to do. So while the strike is going on, they are doing research. We are watching the crisis between Ukraine and Russia and taking notes to teach your students. It's part of research. A lecturer in botany that goes to the bush to do research on plants is doing even while the strike is going on. Our community service, many of them are still involved in community service as we speak today. And the salary they are supposed to be paid is also meant for accommodation, health, and other things. And when they resume, they will still cover these hours. What they usually do is that they will give them extra hours, extending the lectures to 8 p.m., 9 p.m. They will still cover those things that they have lost. So I don't think it is right for us to just think that we are going to court, court gives orders, then that is the end of the... we are rather deepening the crisis. Instead of us to sit down and look at all the issues and then sit down together and resolve these problems, we are just trying to postpone and complicate the problem.
All right, even the National Association of Nigerian Students have called these judgments black market judgments. It means they are on the side of their lecturers.
They are, and they didn't even miss words. They actually told government to accede to the lecturers' demands and meet up with the agreements, the various agreements signed with the lecturers. I think the students are on the side of their lecturers, and I don't know where Nigerians are standing right now. I also think that Nigerians should be on the side of the lecturers at this time because
so many people are saying they are slightly losing sympathy.
Well, that is what surprises me, really. When I hear that strike. Let's ask ourselves, all the developments that have taken place in Nigerian universities have been the result of strikes embarked upon by these lecturers. The TED fund we are celebrating today is a product of strike. All the major, education tax fund is a product of lecturers' agitation. Why must a government always wait for lecturers to go and agitate before they develop their educational institutions? I think that is the question that Nigerians should be asking, instead of saying that strike is fast losing its relevance. A lot of people don't know what is happening in all these public universities. If you go, I really, really feel for those who are there. I tell you the truth. Do you know, we see the pictures on social medias. You see lecture theaters where you can find up to 300 students at the same time. How do you want those people to learn? And these people that are talking, they don't send their own children to this type of schools. They send their children to schools where they access the best of standard of education. If it is good, and if lecturers are just making noise, why are our leaders not sending their own children to Nigerian higher institutions? That is the question that the masses should be asking. Because for me, these lecturers are fighting for Nigerians. That is the truth. They may not even be fighting for me. I won't send my child to a public university, for example. I'm not going to do that for my child because that would be wicked on my part. So they are not fighting for the rich. They are fighting for the poor masses. And the earlier the people understand that, the better it's going to be for all of us. Though the lecturers also have their own problems, but I don't want to talk about that now.
All right, so the state governors do not seem to have a stand on this issue between the federal government and ASUU. Well,
I think some of the state governors, have read them, their positions, but there's no uniformity of, among the 36 state governors. But you see, I think what we should be very careful not to kill public universities, because we are talking about an institution that employs, if our senior lecturers alone, about almost 30,000, with some 7,000 professors. So we must realize that if we kill public institutions, it's going to deny a lot of people from poor homes to have access to education. Unfortunately, most of these policy makers attended public schools. So we must be very careful to ensure that we don't know the system that will make it very difficult for ordinary people from poor homes, in spite of all their talents and their potentials,
all right.
to have access to.
Mokhtar from Kano. Hello, Mokhtar.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening to you.
Yeah, how are you doing?
Well, good.
Yes, my contribution to this program is that, to be sincere, the government is insincere about the issue of ASUU, because we the masses voted this government into power with the hope that it will do good for the masses. Unfortunately, it is the reverse. We sincerely support ASUU because ASUU is fighting for the masses. But the whole problem of this meeting, court order, whatever it is the leader, it is the president that doesn't want this problem to end. Simple as that.
All right.
If the president wishes to, he can direct today that this, he can just, admit that ASUU is right and let them go back to classes.
All right.
But he doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to do it. So.
Thank you very much for your contribution. All right, Madam Olabisi, is this a blackmail or on ASUU?
Well, can it work? It maybe government thinks it can. I also think that government is also probably confused. Sincerely speaking, I think they don't really know what to do, and they just feel that, okay, if an attempt to, settle the matter with ASUU is not working out, let's just use the court's excuse. Maybe that will work. But I'm sure also that even whoever, the Minister of Labour himself should know that it's not likely to work. Maybe they also want to be seen as doing something. And you can see that the minister is probably talking from both sides of the mouth. He has also said that government did not take ASUU to court, and also that the fact that the case is in court does not mean that negotiation with ASUU cannot continue. So, which means that they are neither here nor there. They are just looking, maybe buying time. Maybe.
All right. Thank you very much. Now.